Welcome everyone to Kitchen Party. We're so happy that you're joining us. Kitchen Party, this is the first Screen to Table Awards that's sponsored by BakeSpace.com. I'm Babette Pepaj, the founder of BakeSpace, and also the co-host of Kitchen Party. If you're new to Kitchen Party, our weekly show, it brings the coolest people in food, in tech, in the culinary lifestyle, and we talk about the latest food trends that are happening, and they talk directly to you. So you're part of the conversation here. Our hashtag that we normally use is Kitchen Party, but we have a new hashtag for tonight's show. It's called Screen, the number 2, and then Table. But you can use Kitchen Party because we're following both. Rene Lynch, my co-host, will be following the Twitter conversation, and I'll be following all the conversations that happen on Google+. If you love food, then you're in for a totally amazing show today, and if you love film, you're in for an even more amazing show because we're here to celebrate the delicious ways food was depicted in the most popular films in 2014. Now, over the past year, film has played a starring role in the films like Chef or in 100-Foot Journey, but food has also played a supporting role in some of the more interesting films that are nominated this year, like The Imitation Game, Boyhood, The Theory of Everything. Yes, The Theory of Everything has some really cool food scenes that we want to make sure we highlight today. If you're a fan of Kitchen Party and you're a fan of BakeSpace, then you know that we have a soft spot for films. We have probably produced hundreds of branded recipes with from our favorite TV shows and films. We worked with a lot of the studios, and so for the last few years we have been having this great relationship with the studios who are producing these amazing films, and so it was only natural that we would create this award show. This is the first one. Next year we're actually contemplating having it at a venue so that you can come and you can be a part of it as well. This show is about 5 miles away from where the Oscars are happening, and also I want to thank the Oscars for this terrible LA traffic. It's unbelievable. But it's crazy. It's absolutely nuts. If you're following the news right now, there's like a bomb threat and some crazy stuff happening right now over by Hollywood and Highland. So we hope that everyone gets home safely so that you can watch this show. If you're watching on Google+, if you're watching on the app, if you're watching on BakeSpace, if you're watching on YouTube, we say hello to everyone. I want to introduce my co-host, Rene Lynch. So Rene, are you excited about the Oscars?
I'm so excited about the Oscars. For us in entertainment, I work in, let me introduce myself. I'm Rene Lynch. I'm a writer and editor at the LA Times, and I work across a number of feature sections, including health, food, and also entertainment. And for us, it's like tax season for accountants. For us, Oscars is everything. Like, it is just Oscar mania. And of course, I'm working through the weekend for the ceremony, and but it's crazy. And as I was leaving the newsroom today, we heard about the explosion. So it sent like shockwaves through the newsroom because people were like, oh my God, what's going on? And so I kind of like had to walk away from all of that to make the show. But I'm very excited to be here, and I too hope everyone gets home safely from that area tonight. But man, the traffic is just stinking because of the Oscars.
It is. Hollywood Boulevard is completely shut down. So I know you're excited about the Oscars, but are you excited about the Screen to Table Awards?
Oh, I am definitely excited about the Screen to Table Awards. Absolutely.
Do you have any?
We should lobby the Academy to turn this into a category next year. So that's what I'm going for.
You are speaking my language, sister. Was there any film that you were really excited about this year?
You know, I think from a foodie perspective, it has to be Chef. I think the Oscar has to go to Chef for that, or the Screen to Table Award has to go to Chef for that. That to me was the best one. I also hope that maybe we'll get a chance to maybe talk about some other food films, maybe not just this year. I'd love to hear what everyone on the panel, what their favorite food film is. But I'm also looking forward to breaking down these films because we've got a few very interesting angles on food and film.
I know. When I was watching the films, I was like, oh my God, this is an amazing food scene. I'm like, does anyone else see it except me? So I want to also introduce our 2 amazing guests today. Now, I know both of them pretty well, and I think when I think of pop culture or I think of film, they're probably 2 of the people I think of right away. We have Brett. So Brett, do you say your last name Ulrich?
Erlich.
Brett Erlich. Now,
aren't
Brett,
you the drummer in Metallica?
No.
Yeah, I wish. Ulrich, that's awesome. That would be amazing.
So Brett was a speaker at our Tech Munch Food Blogger Conference a couple years ago, and there's one tweet that you put out. It was like, I can't believe it's been 200 years since the War of 18 whatever. I forgot what the tweet was that you said, but I was like, oh my God, it stuck with me, and it just made me laugh so hard. So we'll see. So I think we have some friends who probably remember that tweet, who are going to tweet that out for us on our BakeSpace page. But I wanted to also say that you were now is Rotten Tomatoes, is that done?
That's done with my affiliation with Rotten Tomatoes, but I frequently do a show through the Young Turks Network that Matt Atchity does a lot from Rotten Tomatoes, and then a bunch of like big film critics come through there. So still plugged in with the film world, do a lot of television reviews for a show on the Young Turks called What the Flick. But yeah, I still watch a lot of movies.
Where can they find you on YouTube?
So on YouTube, I host a show called Pop Trigger. We put up a new video every day about everything happening in pop culture. Today we talked about something super important, I think, not just to me, but to everyone, which is there was a photo of Beyonce that was just a Beyonce that had no computer improvement. It's really the status and quality of her skin that's the closest to my heart. We cover all those really hard-hitting issues. But that's at youtube.com/poptrigger. And then I have a really long-running series called Viral Video Film School.
It's one of my favorite shows, by the way.
Oh, awesome.
I was just going to mention that. You like read my mind. You want to tell the folks at home who are maybe not familiar with it?
Yeah, it's so old that we have youtube.com/viralvideos. So if you go there, you can see every Thursday we put up a new video picking out a viral trend, and we're going to focus a lot more in the future on like weird viral video communities. So we just did the community of people who are doing get-rich-quick schemes that went up last week, and next week, I don't know, but check it out every Thursday, and then bonus features every Tuesday.
You know, maybe the opening of this show should be on your viral. It's like when people hang out.
That was my fault. 100%. Every technical glitch, I'm like, these guys don't have it together. Like, oh, I'm going to click over to something else, and then I start closing everything, and layer by layer, the 6 windows that I had open.
Wait, you know, it's so funny to think that you could click over when you're in the show. Is hysterical.
Just dumb. You say hysterical. I say drastically uninformed.
Well, I want to also, we're so happy that you got here. First of all, are you drinking anything?
Yeah, I got a couple Magnums. I don't know, of Glenfiddich. My hands are really big, too. I'm not holding these close to the screen. My girlfriend's a flight attendant, so we are just rich in full-sized 750 milliliters. Oh, also my face grows a lot. But I'll be drinking these throughout the course of the show, so thank you.
I like to see at the end of the show they're like all empty. Yeah. Now, our second guest, Lee Farber, who is the writer and co-executive producer of The Soup. Now, did you guys watch The Soup, Rene?
Of course.
What's it like? It's a great show. It's absolutely. Yeah, I thought it was kind of appropriate because the soup and food, and it kind of made sense. And you follow. I mean, The Soup takes these like really quirky moments and sees something else in him that no one else sees at the time, and then you put it on the show, and I'm like, of course, that's hilarious. Like, you know, you're just like, you cannot believe what you guys can find. Now, you're also the writer and the director. Are you the director as well of the Lonely Italian? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
My first feature, it actually came as a result of The Soup. There was a young Italian guy named Domenico Nesci who used to be on the Tila Tequila reality show, and we used to make fun of him all the time. And then he got his own show on MTV called That's Amore, where he had to wear these like Italian Speedos, or like literally Speedos with the Italian flag, and he made girls wrestle in like hot tubs full of spaghetti and meatballs, and we used to make fun of him on The Soup, and he was a good sport, and he approached me about a year and a half ago, or almost 2 years ago, and had this idea to do a documentary about online dating, because he had been doing online dating, and we talked about it, and I said no, and I said no, and I said no, and then finally I said yes, and we did it, and we followed him joining every online dating site imaginable for about a year. Everything from Match.com, OkCupid, eHarmony, to Christian Mingle, Black Singles, Muslim Singles, 420 Dating, Date Me, Date My Pet, J-Date, where he wore a yarmulke and a tallis for the date, and so we're just finishing up. It's going to be really, really funny. So it's kind of a combination documentary narrative hybrid.
Well, it's cool that you used Kickstarter too to fund part of it. So
what we did was we shot the dates basically on the cheap. I mean, all it cost was we all had the cameras. Oh, my lights are out. Wait, hold on, I've been still for too long. You didn't pay the power bill. Hold on. Let's go.
That happened at another hangout where they were in a room, and all of a sudden the lights went out, and they couldn't figure out what the problem was.
Yeah.
It was awesome. We did that with Columbia Crest. I don't know if you remember, Rene.
Yes, I do.
That was a great, and they were such good sports until they figured it out, and they're like, oh, okay, we get this. Well, where can people find out more about the film?
You actually just have to sit tight and wait for us to finish it. We did a Kickstarter last summer, which if you're watching this, you missed out on and didn't contribute at all, so thank you for nothing. Thanks, Brett. And but we're actually just finishing it, so we will look for us at festivals and stuff like that. In the meantime, I brought some alcohol too. I just brought a couple of things. I brought Macallan. I'm a big Macallan fan, so this is a Macallan 15, and then this is another one, and then this is another one. 15.
You are ready.
It would be funny if you were really small, that like the bottles were the same
and
size.
The bottles were huge, yeah. And then there's a Macallan 12 also, which is pretty good. And then I also brought a Macallan 25, which I really.
Why are we not in your office doing this show?
Well, that's your fault. I can't, And then there's a Highland Park, which is pretty good. And then if we want to move on to
our next kitchen party there.
What?
We're definitely doing the next kitchen party there. Oh my goodness.
Exactly. And then we could go to Dewar's if you want, because I've got that. If you're more a fan of tequila, we could do Patron or Don Julio. Either one is fine.
I can't believe your office.
There's Campari if you need it. Some people like Campari. We could just celebrate with some champagne, or Sky vodka is fine.
Do you work at Bevmo? Is that where your office is?
What? Yeah. And then I have a couple bottles of vodka. This is Purity vodka, which is good stuff. There's 2 bottles there. There's another 2 bottles right here. That's about 4 right there. I think 2.
About 4.
Does your wife
Where is all this alcohol from?
What?
What is this?
Things
I
get
dabble.
kind of lonely here. But we could always just go to the traditional wine route. This is a Magnum of Eberly, which is very good. That's a 2010 cab. We could go Italian if you want. There's a Barolo. There's a Brunello. Brunello di Montalcino is great. That's a Bonfi. That's an 07, by the way. And then anyway, it keeps going. If you want me to go through the rest of it,
you guys. I want to tell the folks at home who are following along. Remember, you can use the hashtag screen2, the number 2 table, or also the Kitchen Party hashtag to talk to us if you have a question. You want to know where Lee gets his alcohol, whatever it is that's on your mind. You let us know. Also, if you're drinking something, take a picture of it and tweet it to us. Just a little bit of words about the categories that we selected for this award ceremony. The way that the films use the food sort of made us think about some of these categories. So they're very unique to our award show. So hopefully we will not offend any filmmakers there, because we loved all of the films, of course. Let me do a little bit. Huh?
I didn't love all the films. I just wanted to make that clear. But I'm just a guest.
But before we jump into it, I just want to mention the Moon Muse is tuning in on Twitter, hey, And Kimberly from Bake, Love, Give just tweeted, I can already tell tonight's Screen to Table episode of Kitchen Party is going to be hilarious. Mini barboos for the win.
All right, let me take my jacket off.
Also, Rita Tatil from Celebrity Source gave us a shout out. Thanks very much. Thanks for joining us.
Hello, Rita. Hello, Rita. So our first award of the evening is for most dysfunctional family dinner. Can you guys guess which film fit this award?
The Godfather.
Yeah. Which current film fit this award?
Godfather 2.
Which film in this decade has... Do you think this fit?
Do I have time to go see the movies real quick? Can we pause this?
All right,
Yeah.
you guys all fail.
I loved all the movies, even though I didn't see them, much like an absentee father.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know what? You're very close.
We're honing in. We're honing in.
Boyhood.
You want to say Boyhood?
The winner is Boyhood. Now, that's our crowd who's watching. Now, do you guys know anything about this film?
Yes. It took as long to shoot that movie as it did to age this delicious scotch.
That is true. That was a good one, Lee.
That's-
You're quick.
This scene was amazing. The one that you're talking about with the alcoholic father who just kind of self-destructs in front of the family.
Absolutely. So, did it make you scared? Did it make you nervous?
Yeah, I'm afraid I'm gonna end up like this guy. I don't see why. I don't know what about me would.
Little bottles.
Oh.
I will give you $50 to throw that glass somewhere.
It'll just bounce.
Oh, it's
From an airplane, and they're supposed to withstand anything.
I thought that scene, it just reminded me of being super uncomfortable, but like being like the kitchen table is really where a lot of the conversations happen in a family, but to have that sort of violence and to just feel like the mother and the son were completely I don't know. They couldn't do anything about it, and then they said that we've had enough of this kind of reaction, and then to be so crazy that you would respond. I think alcoholism does that. To respond that way in front of your children at the table and throw a glass at them is pretty disgusting.
Yeah, it was a pretty, very, very intense movie. Do you think it has any shot at it already isn't a winner because it got an award?
That's one of those things that you
think it's going to win at the Oscars?
God, I hope not.
I love how Brett freezes and then says something interesting and then freezes again. I can't tell if he's frozen on the video.
That's true. He's still talking.
like 10 seconds, we're going to get the rest of that comment.
Wouldn't it be great if it wins, but they say we're not going to give you the award for another 12 years? How long must we wait?
No, Brett, it looks like your video just caught up. Were you saying something?
Oh, there you were.
Yeah, the film, it's like very gimmicky, the whole idea that we shot it for 12 years, which is something that no one else has ever done. It's unprecedented outside of a documentary, but, I just wish those kids were better actors. That's the thing, is I kept having to, make excuses for not enjoying their performance. So, I don't know, I wish that it, I thought Ethan Hawke.
Oh.
No, there you go.
Oh.
I'll just to quote what he said. I think he thinks Ethan Hawke was awful, had no business being in the movie, or any movie for that. Is that what you were going to say, Brett?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I didn't hear you, but I think you said Ethan Hawke.
Oh, he's just playing with us.
I don't think so. Oh my god, this is hysterical. You guys are funny. Okay.
When you think about it, they're kind of like, if it wins, it's gonna win because no one died in 12 years. That's the accomplishment, is that they managed to go 12 years without some kind of horrible train derailment of losing an actor. I think that would have been great if all of a sudden, like, I mean, not someone died, but maybe someone like left the movie or something, and
if the child died. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and they were just replaced with another actor, and then but no one made reference to it. It's like when all of a sudden there was another Lionel Jefferson on the Jeffersons, but they do it in one movie. We're like, hey, you're played by a different actor. Wow. And now you're Latino. This is so weird.
Or if they had to explain it and they went through this weird justification, and in order to accomplish that justification, it became a sci-fi movie.
Right.
On that note, the next Screen to Table award goes to Most Delectable Comfort Food. Can you guys guess which film got this award?
Chef.
I would have thought, I would have said that originally, but you're wrong.
Grand Budapest.
I would have said that as well, but you're wrong.
American Sniper for the baba ganoush they were eating in Iraq. No?
No.
Silence of the Lambs? Like human liver?
No. Mm-hmm. In this decade.
Oh, Silence of the Lambs 2?
All right, well, you guys... I give up. All right, you guys, the most delectable comfort food is... Let's see if I can get this.
Is it going to have reveal?
Woo! Selma!
Selma!
Now, do you guys recognize this scene?
Yeah, that's right before Salma Hayek walks on into the kitchen.
No, she's not in that movie.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, because this one's spelled weird.
Did you guys see this movie? Any of you guys see this movie?
No, I'm not a fan of fiction.
Oh.
Okay. First of all, this movie is about Martin Luther King, and it's about the group that basically they marched from Selma to Montgomery, and just crazy times, making big decisions, trying to really make an impact. And what's cool about where this movie was set is that it was set in a house. The Jackson family owned it, a different Jackson than you're thinking. And this husband and wife, he was a doctor. I think she was a teacher, educator. And they basically made it this was their office. This was Martin Luther King's office. He was in this house, and he basically sat in their living room and watched the president sign, the document that said, voting for everyone. And this kitchen, the cool thing about it is that it's like, no matter what happens and what you're doing, the idea of getting into the kitchen, having great food, like in the picture they're having cornbread, and they were having some grits, and they were having, they were talking about the food and saying you need to mix the grits, and it was just this real warmth, kind of like real experience that you had some insight into, like what they were going through. And I just thought it was a really cool scene.
What's great is the producers are going to hear that they won this award, and they're going to say, see, I told you we didn't need to send out screeners. Because that's the whole thing. Like, they didn't get nominated for anything, really, because they didn't send out screeners. I'm in the Writers Guild and SAG. I didn't get a screener, so I couldn't see it and vote for it. I'm sure I didn't see the movie. I'm sure I heard it was amazing.
I have a question, Lee, about the screeners. What happens? Do you not get the screeners if you don't vote the next year?
No.
Oh, okay.
Get them. And actually, I got spoiled last year because SAG randomly picks out members. It's like just, I think, 1,000 out of however many members there are to be on the nominating committee for the SAG Awards. And when you're on that, you get everything. I mean, they sent me everything last year. I got the next Star Wars. That's how much they sent me. Wow. Yeah, I got everything. And then this year, it was like, I was like, oh, great, The Hobbit. Anything else? No? Okay, goodbye.
I can just see, like, they get to your name, Lee, and they're like, Lee, he's been very naughty this year. No,
that's right.
No, we're going to erase him from the list.
Oh, it's true. Yeah. I mean, I finally got the Jennifer Aniston Cake movie.
Oh, what'd you think of that?
I didn't watch it. It was like, she was campaigning too hard. I mean, I heard the only reason to watch it was to judge whether or not she was any good, and hooray, she didn't wear makeup. Brave.
Shave your head, pull a G.I. Jane, then I'll respect ya.
Right? Exactly.
Okay, so the next award is Most Obsessive-Compulsive Plating and Food Presentation. Do you guys know what film this is from?
This is my favorite award every year. It always applies. I'm going to go with, it's got to be like The Imitation Game.
Let's see. And the winner is...
Theory of Everything.
The Imitation Game.
Yes.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. Now, why did you think that?
Nerds. Autism.
Yeah, OCD.
Yeah. And this is a real victory for OCD.
A real victory. Renee, do you know anything about this film?
Yeah, including that it's somewhat controversial, kind of like that it doesn't really tell the true story of the main character. That's been the one of the baggage that it's carried into the award season, but it's still been doing pretty well.
So you're telling me that Hollywood embellished something?
I know.
They left out the most interesting thing, and this is true. The guy had an obsession with Snow White all his life, and when they found him dead, there was a bite taken out of an apple next to him, and they say that he dipped the apple in cyanide to kill himself and then took a bite of it like the poison apple in Snow White. Swear to God.
That's amazing.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Not in the movie, because it would have been a downer.
Also, all the licensing issues with Disney.
Mm-hmm. Not to mention Apple.
Oh my God, you guys make me laugh. Okay, let's get to the next one. That's pretty good. Okay, so now here's the next one that you guys have to figure out. Most uninhibited. I'm sorry. Uninhibited table manners.
Theory of Everything, and that's not nice to say because he couldn't help it.
No, you're actually wrong.
Oh.
You want to guess another movie?
Oh God. Uninhibited Jaws.
Okay, let's see. Oh, there it is, and the winner is Wild.
Wild.
Now, did you guys see this movie?
I thought she walked the whole time. When did she sit down for a meal? All she had was trail mix.
Well, what happened was okay, so for the people who are watching at home who don't know this movie, this is basically a woman who is going through a divorce. Her mother had just died, and to sort of find herself, because she was doing like heroin and the crazy drugs, she decided to go like walk 1,000 miles. Now, I probably would just do more drugs, but she decided she was going to walk 1,000 miles in the forest, and she basically went I don't know. She packed wrong. She had all these great things, but so many people helped her. But the idea was that she realized, well, I'm not going to tell you what the ending is, but in the process of the walk, she runs into this gentleman who is married, and he brings her home because she hasn't had a good cooked meal, and they basically are eating ribs, and it is like the most disgusting, like visual scene. It's like she's lost complete control of like what is proper to eat completely. She's just so hungry. She's like, I have to eat this. So, congratulations on your success.
The movie was originally going to be called Ribs. That was the climactic scene.
That would
it was her search for ribs.
I will spoil the movie. Those ribs aren't like beef or pork. That's actually that guy's kid.
Oh.
More of a horror film, more of a shocker.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Another spoiler alert, his kid is delicious.
You know, I want to tell you, it's funny, there was a scene where she calls out a Snapple, like specifically like, they're like, what do you want? And she's like, I want a Snapple. And I was thinking, well, that's kind of like a fun, quirky thing. And then I thought, is that sponsored? And my brain was like, is that from the Snapple company? So I thought, yeah, maybe it's not as organic as I'm thinking. So, but I thought I'm a little bitter, not bitter. I'm a little jaded in terms of like when I see stuff like that, I'm like,
Yeah, and all of a sudden she was replaced by Wendy from Snapple.
All right, let me go to the next one. All right, now this is probably, it was not necessarily my favorite movie, but I thought it was really interesting. Most biblical inspired food scene.
Oh.
Can you guys guess what film that is?
Exodus.
No.
That's
No.
biblical. That's what the
No.
movie is.
There's no food. That's it. There's no food in that.
Noah.
No.
Also biblical.
I have no guess for this one.
I was gonna guess atheism. The
Okay.
movie.
It's very weird. It's like the weirdest movie of the bunch.
Oh, Inherent Vice?
Let's see. Oh,
Yeah!
Inherent Vice. You guys, you see the scene, right? It's obvious. Like you look at it and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, that's the Last Supper.
Yeah, didn't see it.
Now, did you guys know anything about this movie? Brett, did you see this?
I didn't see it, but I've talked to a lot of people who have seen it, and this is one of those rare movies that on all the sites, like Rotten Tomatoes, will have the critics rating it way higher than people. Usually what happens is, like, if a lot of, normal people like the movie, the critics just absolutely hate it. So this was one of those that, like, folks who like Paul Thomas Anderson, the director, really like this movie. But if you're looking for something that just like makes sense as a narrative, this is not your jam.
I was like, I watched it and I'm like, okay, the ex-girlfriend comes back and asks.
La, 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 la.
No. I was just gonna tell you that she just asked a favor. She asks a favor. That doesn't tell you anything. So she asked a favor, but it's like so weird and so random. And then these cast of characters that come in and they get these big actors, and I'm like, where am I in this film? I mean, I think it's worth to see. I love the director. I think it's worth seeing. But I thought this was actually pretty inspired. This scene was pretty inspired. So I thought,
I haven't seen it yet because a part of me is still sitting through The Master,
Mm-hmm.
waiting for that to end, and then I'll go on to his next movie. Was that a long one?
All right, we're going to talk about desserts. Did I spell dessert right?
Most delectable dessert, the gobi.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to go through that real fast. Okay.
Mocha Mojave.
Okay. Most delectable dessert, my friend.
Is it a high desert or a low desert? Give me a.
This is like, you understand, I've had some spelling errors this week that have just been hilarious. So
You spelled delectable right, though.
I was just gonna say.
all right.
And doesn't most have an A in it?
Do you guys have any idea what movie that is?
Grand
Cake.
Budapest.
I would have said that. Yes, that you're right. That would be a good one. But there was a specific scene that really just made me want to eat that dessert.
50 Shades.
Okay. And we went the wrong way. And the winner is. Oh, it's a tie. It's a tie.
Literally unprecedented in the food table.
That's right. I'm gonna.
Oh my God.
There we go. We almost went the wrong way. Okay.
Next thing you know, Sasheen Littlefeather's going to come up and accept one of these awards.
So of course, let's all talk about the elephant in the room. Obviously, the typo on dessert. We see that. We know that. Everyone who is at home watching that, congratulations. You're part of the group now. But the storyline is for Boyhood and for the Grand Budapest Hotel. With Boyhood, basically on the weekends, the father, that's the only time he gets with his kids. And so this particular camping trip, they were talking about girls and talking about, how he should pick the girls up and what he should do, and he should listen to them, and like he'll be ahead of all the other women, that all the other guys that are trying to get the same girls. And he stops, and as he's talking about the s'mores, and he's describing it and saying, like, look at the peaks on the marshmallows. And it made me want to put my face through the TV, eat that s'more, and call it a day. But it was just such a great little scene that I thought, well, it's such a moment that takes you back to that time of making s'mores with your family for the first time. And then the second, the tie, was basically the Grand Budapest. You were right. I mean, you were like half right. But she uses the bakery and the baked goods to help get the boss out of prison with basically baking in these tools that they can use to get out of prison, which I thought that was really cool. Because it was so good that the prison guards wouldn't look at it. They basically were like, this looks too good. We don't want to mess it up, so we'll just pass it through. And they didn't realize when they were all shaped as like hammers and stuff that they, that basically they were going to break the law. That's what I would do if I was in prison. I'd be like, someone bake me some stuff. I need to get it.
Just I hope you hope they know that there's a hammer in there. That's great. I'm out of prison.
Now, did you guys see Grand Budapest?
Yes.
No.
It's really good.
I want to see it. I have it.
It's on, I think it's on Netflix now. I'm not sure. But
yeah, it's either on Netflix or HBO Go. And so you'll see a trend of whether I've seen a movie or not, as to whether it's free with my subscription services. Birdman, someday, Birdman.
Birdman. I want to see Birdman. I really want to see that.
Birdman I've seen.
I saw some of Birdman just to see if there were some food scenes, and it was just there was nothing in there for us to be able to. So no, I guess that's out of the bag now. No one can vote for Birdman.
But the whole movie is delicious.
Yeah. Oh.
The DVD is baked into a cookie.
They would get a whole bunch of votes then. All right, here we go. All right, so the next award is Most Science-Inspired Beverage. Can you guys guess what movie that is?
Theory of Everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have Theory of Everything, yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Uh-oh.
Do you guys remember the scene?
The scene where he had a black hole, Black Russian.
Do you guys remember what the scene was about?
I do, but only because I got a cheat sheet before this. And back to the beginning of the universe.
Okay, so basically what happens is he's on a train, and he's looking at coffee, and the coffee is spinning. And his first theory, which when I started watching this film, I realized how stupid I am, because I'm like, why would anyone care? Why would anyone even think this stuff? Like, why is this even important? Who would even think this? So basically his thought was that if he could go backwards, he would actually reverse time all the way back to the point of when life began, which I still do not understand fully. But when he was giving a description, he was talking to his girlfriend, and they were doing the same thing that the coffee was doing, going in a circle. They were basically saying, if we can rewind time, we can basically go back to the beginning, back to when it began, which was his first theory. This movie is kind of interesting. He has a little bit of a quirky personality. Like, even as his health is deteriorating, he still has a little bit of a sense of humor on his own theories. So I thought that was. Did anyone see that? Rene, did you see that?
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking that he's got to win for Best Actor, right? I mean, that just seems like I think he's going to be the one to beat for that.
Yeah. What's the beverage that inspired him to leave his wife for the nurse?
I read that. I was really surprised, because I was like, oh, they stayed together. They loved each other so much. It's so great. Yeah. But not only that, she fell in love with the piano guy.
Right.
But then she decided she didn't want to leave him because it would hurt his feelings. But then he's basically in a wheelchair and still leaves his wife. And I told my lover last night, I said, that's a very typical male thing to do. Yeah, you're in a wheelchair with a tracheotomy, and you still leave your wife.
Yeah, he was like, I'm over you, bitch.
I always thought he was American because of the voice.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And supposedly they don't make that voice for anyone else now. I'm
going after that sweet, sweet poontang. That's right.
Okay. If anyone has any questions,
We're gonna have to beat that.
Yeah.
Rene, have you been following Twitter? I want to make sure we want to get to folks their questions. We got some people who checked in on Google Plus. Maybe we're so entertaining they have no questions to ask because this is uncharted territory here. These awards, so nobody next year they'll be able to really be like, that's not how it's supposed to be. All right.
I think they're yucking it up. Although the Moon Muse tweeted us a picture, she says she's drinking at her day job, and she tweeted us out a cup of coffee. She says she usually has Bailey's on hand, but sadly she ran out, so she's just going black coffee while she's watching us.
That's nice. I hope she lives on the West Coast, or she's got a very late day job.
Yeah, no. Alaska. She's a baker, professional baker. Bakes amazing cakes.
Babette, I have to tell you this. Fresh Foodie in a Flash tweeted, first of all, thanks for joining us, but tweeted that there's another typo. It's theory.
Oh, well,
I'm
okay.
sorry.
What'd you say?
What? We're gonna go back.
Thori, the Thor of everything. I must get back to Asgard.
You guys don't realize what this does to my lover, who's basically gonna be like, "I told you to spell check that." All right. Anyway, no one's gonna watch this video anyways, right?
Wait, I want to give one more shout out. Das for Foodies, hey, says that Grand Budapest is our winner for Screen to Table Awards. So we might have a little competition there, yeah.
All right, here's the next award: most science-inspired use of food.
No, we did that.
No. Use of food. Use of food.
What was the last one?
Beverage.
Use of
Beverage.
I'm sorry, I'm not watching. I'm watching another Google Hangout. You guys keep going.
So can you guys guess?
Inspired use of food.
I'm almost afraid to look to see if there's a typo. Okay. Here's what we're gonna. Well, I can't do anything about it now. I mean, I can do it. I'm in a PDF. I actually could open up the PowerPoint and change the text, but at this point, blah blah blah. All right. This is hysterical, by the way. So basically, this scene.
Everything's happening at the same time right
Things are
now.
falling apart.
So basically, this scene, guys. Let me see if I can make it so that you can't see the typo. Here. I'm putting my mouse over the theory. Basically, in this scene, she has a pea and a potato, and she's trying to explain, like in his first theory was if I can reverse time and go back to the beginning, I can see when life started. That was his first theory. But his second theory proved that theory is incorrect, possibly, and that the universe does not have a beginning and an end. The universe is all-encompassing, like it's everything. It never ends. It's like tall, it's wide, it's whatever. It has no beginning, no end, which means there is no God.
Peas and potatoes.
So what they're saying is like, so what she was saying is she was trying to explain to him, like, one is quantum physics and the other one is blah blah blah. And so basically she was showing them, she was using
quantum leap.
Yeah, she was basically saying these are the two things. I just thought it was such a sweet way to incorporate food and to basically give us a cool visual of the idea. And then all of a sudden I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Did you? All right. So since we already asked if people saw this movie, let me go to.
I mean, what's shocking to me is the fact that Theory of Everything is totally cleaning up with all the science categories.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I should have had that in my pool.
It's certainly cornered the market in starch and legumes.
Wait a minute, is a pea a legume?
Okay, you guys are hilarious.
It's not in my Anthem health coverage. Apparently, can't find it there. Somewhere else.
That's pretty good that you have health coverage, Brett.
Oh no, I don't have this one anymore. Obama.
He pines after it. Instead of reading Playboys, he reads the Anthem guide to Someday.
What's my copay? What's my copay? Come on.
So the most violent dinner scene goes to, what do you guys think that's going to be?
Oh, wow.
The most violent dinner scene.
SpongeBob movie.
Yeah. I would say Rambo and the case of the of the late entree.
The most violent scene goes to. Let's see if we got it.
Lagoon. This is in the lagoon.
American Sniper?
Now,
Oh! When the guy invites them for that dinner, he's like, "You will be my guest at dinner," blah, 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 blah. And they're all making nice, and then Bradley Cooper sees that he's got a sniper's thing on his elbow, like a scab.
Yep.
And gets up and finds the stuff, and then he dies at the end.
I love how all of a sudden you're like, as you're telling it, you're like, maybe I'm giving away too much stuff here. So you're like,
right.
Oh.
So I just went for it.
Yeah, I figure, when we first thought of these awards, this was like the first scene that we had thought of because it was such a weird, like, we're being so helpful and so nice and so this, and the idea that he was so in tune to be able to see that when you would think that all their guards are down because they're all laughing and they're cheering and they're just, they feel good to have, like, food and the guy's, like, trying to help. And that family goes into a whole different direction later in the movie, but it was so violent. I mean, the whole movie was so violent that every second I was like, oh no, but then I saw this and I thought, oh, this is a perfect category. Rene, did you see this movie?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I didn't think about it until you put it all together like that, but yeah, pretty bad. Pretty difficult scene.
Yeah. I think
And my daughter's Baby Alive is more realistic than the baby from that movie.
Oh, yeah, that was really weird.
My wife just texted me a link to an article that plastic baby is what's going to cost it at the Oscars because that was so... Like, everything else was so good about that movie, except Sienna Miller was horrible. But that baby was so ridiculous. There was no reason. And you see, like, it still had the price tag on it.
I wondered how many plastic babies it takes to lose an Oscar.
It's true.
All right, so we're going to get to the next one now. So, film most likely to inspire you to go to culinary school.
Oh, chef.
Chef.
Renee?
I have a thing about chef.
That would be chef.
Really? That's very interesting. Because, see, I would think it would be the opposite. It would actually tell you not to go to culinary school. It would tell you you go be your own freedom because a culinary school is gonna put you in the there.
Oh, 100-foot journey.
Absolutely, because he goes the traditional.
That makes sense.
Because he goes from
good switcheroo.
Yeah, because he goes from like feeling the spices and being. Now, Brett and Lee, did you guys see the 100-foot journey?
This is one that I wanted to see so bad after seeing the trailer, but I literally just forgot about it.
My wife watched it on a plane next to me before the holidays, and I think it was like Steven Spielberg and then Oprah, and I was like, all right, I'm out. That's a combination. I'm done. And yeah, she was like, yeah, all right, that was a movie. Like she acknowledged that it existed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it was no good or bad. All right, that was a movie.
Yeah, I've traveled 1,500 miles during that.
Yeah. No desire. 100-foot journey.
We have a couple more awards. So, most adorable eater.
I want to go with Fat Bastard from the Austin Powers movie. He's eating babies, so they're adorable.
This is something you should probably see because it's just really well done, but it's very unique in the space, and it's not very big, and it may be it's by a very big company, but they're known. A lot of their movies are known for this type of stuff.
Lunch at Halliburton.
That's a big company.
Love it.
Disney.
Okay. Let's see. What'd you say?
The Feast.
Disney is a big company.
Ah, exactly.
Feast. I saw
You did see it.
Yes, I saw it before. I think it was Big Hero 6.
Oh, cool.
Which I hated. I hated Big Hero 6. My kids were just about it, but this was adorable. Except that I was confused because I thought this was Big Hero 6. And I was like, where's the Michelin Man? Or whatever. It was so confusing.
I wonder with Big Hero 6, like after they made the movie and everything, there was a moment where they looked at each other and were like, is this just the Michelin Man?
Yeah, right?
I thought it was creative at the beginning, but this is very Michelin Man-y.
You do wonder if anybody along the way said, do you guys like know who this looks like?
Yeah. Disney has gone all the way from dead mothers to dead fathers, now to dead brothers. They're making their way.
Now, Rene,
My third cousin died, and now I'm gonna win.
Now, Rene, I don't think you've seen Feast.
I have not seen Feast, but I've seen a little bit of it, a little snippet of it. I ended up editing a story about that the other day, and I just am in love with that little dog. In love.
For those of you who are watching at home, Feast is basically an animated short by Disney, and it kind of, you know, the idea of like how Disney characters, you know, like feed each other spaghetti and that kind of like love affair between animal and food. It's amazing. This movie is basically this little dog gets found, and then he has a love affair between him and his owner through food. So, like, everything that he gets left over, all, like, the chips, I mean, things that you would never feed your dog, which I was like, I think this is irresponsible. But, of course, I was like, just be in the moment, Babette, just be in the moment. And then, something happens in the movie and things change, but then it resolves at some point. I'm not going to give that away because it's so cute. But it's like a 6-minute short. It's on Google Play. You can download it for, like, $1.99. I think it's adorable. And I think it's very sweet, this relationship we have with our pets, and I think this film does a great job in describing that. Rene,
and still, the dog's mother dies.
No, there's no mother.
Disney, stop it! Stop killing parents!
Could you please get back to the Disney movie, the aspect where it's a love affair with a dog? Rehash that. That's what
Beauty and the Bestiality.
Yeah.
I think this is our last one. This is our last award. I think it is. And there may be one more, but I'm pretty sure this is the last one. But this is for you guys. You guys should be able to get this.
Chef.
Chef!
I didn't even get to say something. Most delicious movie.
Chef!
Chocolate.
Oh!
Those Cuban sandwiches.
Here's the thing. Jon Favreau couldn't be fatter, and yet he writes a movie where his ex-wife is Sofia Vergara and his girlfriend is Scarlett Johansson. And it's unbelievable.
Literally unbelievable.
Literally unbelievable. And here's the thing. The movie is, nothing happens in it, really. It's just the food truck and whatever. But everything is very small, and it's like, okay, I'm going back to making little movies like when I did Swingers, which, he wrote, and everything's nice and small. But then, all of a sudden, every time someone tweets, it's like a 3D graphic with the bird. And it's like, all of a sudden you remember, oh, that's right, this is the director of Iron Man, who just to show people tweeting, went out and spent $1 million per tweet to show a bird going, instead of just showing people going, boop, he had to go,
I love it. Instead of showing people.
That's all he had to do. See the little birds flying.
I wanted to see the bird like turn into Iron Man and like shoot lasers. You want that panini pressed?
Right, the food truck, like shields come up and then guns come out, and Don Cheadle comes out and says, I don't know about this one, Tony. Oh my God. Iron Man is more believable than Chef. With the talking computer that runs his whole life, and Gwyneth Paltrow, who's just like platonic, whatever, and looks after. That is more believable than Jon Favreau. Oh, no, Scarlett Johansson, I can't do this anymore. My ex-wife, Sofia Vergara, wants me back. Please.
Good movie, though. Good movie. Loved it. Loved good movie.
Fine film. Fine film.
Now, when you guys were watching that movie, was there any recipe in particular that you're like, I love that. That looks amazing.
Cuban sandwich.
Yeah, it was all about the Cuban sandwich.
All I wanted the whole time. I was on a plane. And I was just like, you know, and then I don't know, whatever sandwich I was eating made me very sad. And that's all I wanted was that Cuban sandwich.
But, you know, the guy who taught him all that stuff about the food truck stuff, what's his name, Roy Choi?
Roy Choi, yeah.
Yeah, and he did the Kogi truck and stuff like that. I mean, he's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
That was, if you look, I think there's like behind the scenes or delete, and he's really showing him how to get right in there and how to cook it and how to make it delicious. And yeah, that was very.
I have some insight into the food in both films. It's 6 o'clock or 6:03. We're gonna be closing shop in about 2 minutes, just so you guys know. So if you have any questions and we don't get to them now, send us a tweet later. Two things. One is I was listening to NPR. There was an interview yesterday that just got published where one of the culinary stylists said that they had gone through 800 cubanos during the filming of that because he wanted every time that an actor took a bite of the food that it would taste just as fresh because you don't want to have the actor take a bite of something that was made 3 hours ago. So everything was fresh. And then because I met Roy Choi in Austin because when they were promoting the film, and they did a whole demonstration and stuff, and we tasted all the recipes. And then I also, 100-Foot Journey, we just did a Google Hangout with Floyd Cardoz, who was a chef, a big chef in New York, and he was one of the culinary consultants for that film. And he talked about how both of those main characters had to go to culinary school to learn how to cut. And so there seems to be a new trend now in films about food that they're actually making real food. They're not just styling a food and doing it, but they're actually doing it. What do you guys think about that?
That reminds me of there was that one movie, Sweet and Lowdown. Is that the one with Sean Penn? It was a Woody Allen movie. And then, he's supposed to be this amazing guitar player, but then you watch him play guitar and there's no way that his hands are doing that. And it just takes you out so much. So when you watch movies like this, it makes you feel good. I mean, when they're trying to do martial arts, they're supposed to be some kind of ninja. They learn a little martial arts. Why shouldn't they learn how to cook?
And Whiplash, when he's this drummer and he's going, blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, he's okay, but it's not the, insane thing that they make it out to be in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with Whiplash,
cooking now, the eye can detect when, wait a second, that doesn't look like the real thing. I mean, we've all grown up on Food Network, so the audiences have gotten much more savvier about what they want to see in their food movies. So I think that's reflecting that. And I mean, why not? They're making a movie. Why not make it as great as it can be?
Yeah, everyone has those Food Network oh, that was perfectly cooked. All those catchphrases and terminology. It's with HGTV and open floor plan. Everyone is an instant expert.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to show you guys. Speaking of people going back and cooking and stuff, we have a cookbook that's based on this Screen to Table Awards, where we found the recipes that are inspired by each of the films that we talked about. So the s'mores recipe, French fries from Feast, the Cubano from Chef, which we actually got from Roy Choi because we did a cookbook for Chef when they launched the film.
Wow.
Also 100-Foot Journey, we got the omelet. And if you guys want to get that cookbook, you can go to BakeSpace.com and click on the cookbook tab, and it'll be the last cookbook that's been published. So you can get those recipes. It's completely open, so you don't have to join the site or download anything. You'll be able to see those recipes right away. And also on the homepage, we have a Disney cookbook, we have the Chef cookbook, and a whole bunch of other ones from nonprofits. So if you want to support those indie cookbook authors, that would be awesome, of course. Rene, I think we should thank the guys for joining us. This was a really fun show.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. You guys have to come back. You added a lot of hijinks at the kitchen party.
Will you guys come back?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, well, especially since we didn't have to go anywhere. I'm here. I mean, this literally, I'm doing what I'd be doing. It's just this time someone's listening.
This time somebody's listening. That's hysterical. All right, guys. Rene, any last words that you'd like to say?
No, the show was a lot of fun, guys. Thank you so much for making time to join us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. And do you guys have any movies planned that you're going to see now that we just had this award show? Anything that inspired you?
I have to see 50 Shades of Grey just because it's like culturally relevant. There is that one drive-in that's playing 50 Shades on one screen and SpongeBob on the other.
Yes.
So I want, two birds.
That's where you're going to go.
One really pervy stone.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to binge watch House of Cards when it comes out. Completely off subject.
I am totally looking forward to that. A week from tomorrow.
Oh, my God.
Yep.
Well, you guys, thank you so much. We will see you guys. If you guys have stuff like for the Oscars, you guys aren't going to any Oscar parties, are you? Lee, are you going to an Oscar party?
Oh, I'm going to the Oscars.
What?
Not real. I mean, at my house.
There will be tuxedo wearing.
Mm-hmm.
And, whenever you get up to go to the bathroom, you will have a seat filler.
It's really strange. No, I'm going to be, it's just a matter of I can find something for my kids to do for 4 hours, and how well I can tie a knot to kind of hold them down to their bedpost so I can actually
That alcohol may help you with that.
Oh, yeah. Where am I going to find that?
All right, guys. Thank you so much. For those of you who are new to Kitchen Party, we host a show just like this every Thursday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. You can go to BakeSpace.com, click on our blog. That usually has all of our latest shows. We have a show on Sunday. We're starting a new series with Nichelle from Cupcakes Take the Cake, which is a baking series, which we're going to be talking about crazy stuff like this Sunday is Red Velvet debate. Like, what is going on with the Red Velvet craze, and why should we care? And also, what does that really mean, Red Velvet? I was really surprised at how many people actually cared about Red Velvet, but it is a hot topic in the food world. So we're really excited about getting some bloggers in to talk about that. And we will see you guys soon. Have a great Oscar screening. And if you guys have any pictures from your Oscar parties of foods that you guys prepare, or drinks or cocktails, please tweet them to us. Use the hashtag #ScreenToTable and also Kitchen Party, and we will see you next Thursday. Bye, guys. Bye, Rene. Thank you, Brett, for joining us.